Hi, my name is Tanvi Misra. I'm a staff writer for City Lab, and I'm here with William Bell, the mayor of Durham, North Carolina. Mayor Bell, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Good to be here.
Great. So I've been to your city several times, and it's a beautiful city with lots to do. Obviously, there's been a huge change, especially in the downtown. You've been mayor since 2001. Can you talk a little bit about how the city has changed and the process that?
I'd be happy to. Durham is a city that was built on tobacco, textiles, furniture, and farming. We no longer do any of that now. We're home to the Research Triangle Park, where we have many Fortune 500 companies, the IBMs, the Glaxos, pharmaceuticals, and et cetera. So as a part of that, what you've seen through public-private partnership between the City of Durham, the County of Durham, and the private sector and nonprofit, particularly Duke University, we've done over 1 million square feet of rehabilitation of our tobacco factory. So what you find now, people are living there, working there. The whole scene has changed. And as a part of that, we've had a transformation in terms of not only the economy, but the people that are working there. And one of the challenges that we face now is we have a lot of high-end residents that are living in downtown. And what we're trying to do is to figure out how we can provide more affordable housing for persons who are necessarily below the median income or just at the medium income to allow them to be able to work downtown also.
Mm-hmm. And what are the ways that you've approached that challenge?
Well, for one thing, again, we're looking at public-private partnership. Well, another thing that we realize is that we own public properties downtown. So one of the first projects that we're undertaking is to build on that public property with the development community, where we will have affordable workforce housing mixed in with retail, and it'll sort of be a mix of incomes. We're looking at that as one of the first stages as we move to try to provide what we call workforce housing for persons that would like to work downtown and live downtown.
Mm-hmm. And then talk a little bit about your transit expansion plans. Those are a part of sort of the
very definitely. Our transit expansion plans, as a city, we begin to face the same issues that growing cities have: more residents, traffic congestion, especially between the main cities, between Durham, Chapel Hill, and Raleigh. So one of the plans that we have on board now is to develop a light rail system between the cities of Chapel Hill and Durham. We're in the planning stages for that now. If we're successful, we would hope that construction will be completed in about 10 years, but that is one of the areas that we are trying to focus on in terms of providing transportation and release from congestion in our cities.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the lessons, like when you're planning for growth for other cities who are sort of at a more nascent stage in the path towards growth? What are some lessons that you wish that you'd known before?
Well, we're really trying to capitalize on what we've seen in other cities. And as I speak about the light rail system, we're focused on transit-oriented development. So what we're doing now is sort of revamping our planning and zoning plans so that we have high-density development around the transit stops, which hopefully helps the transit stops in terms of riderships, but more importantly allows people to be able to live downtown or live in areas close to transit stops. Mm-hmm. And we've seen that happen in I guess the closest city to us is Charlotte, North Carolina, which has a light rail system. And they've done a beautiful job of not only expanding the light rail system, but in terms of development that's taking place around the transit stops. And we're hopefully going to learn from them.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Charlotte. Your city, Charlotte, and a couple of other cities have been, in the past months, at the at the helm of sort of this political tug of war, right? I mean, you've got immigration, you've got transgender rights issues, you've got, you've got the Confederate monuments.
Sure.
All of these issues have become flashpoints between you and previously your state, but also the federal government. Could you talk about what it feels like to be a blue city in a red state?
Well, let me say about Durham. Durham is a very welcoming city. We're the fourth largest city in the state of North Carolina, over 250,000 people. We're a city that prides ourselves on our diversity. We have no major minority focus in our city: African Americans, Caucasians, rising Hispanic population, Asian, et cetera. So with that respect, we've been able to avoid some of the issues that I think other cities have in terms of being a welcome community. This whole issue about the Confederate monuments has been a flashpoint, particularly in Durham. But one of the things I've learned as mayor, is you give people space to let them vent their concerns, and we've been able to do that with not a lot of disruptions. Of course, we've had the crowds and the Confederate monument that came down, which got to be a national piece, but we'll work ourselves through that.
Great. And is there, for people who haven't ever been to Durham, Is there something that you want to tell them about that they don't know about the city that you want to
Well,
leave them with?
let me say to those who have not been to Durham, again, it's a great city. It's a city that has become known as a foodie city. We have great restaurants in the downtown area. We're home to the minor league baseball team, the Durham Bulls, which just won the national championship, by the way. Been very successful all in downtown. We have a performing arts center called DPAC, Durham Performing Arts Center, which is probably one of the most successful performing arts centers in the country. We typically in the top 5 in terms of attendance. So there's a variety of things. It's good transportation, a lot of green space, just an excellent place to be. And if you're in Durham, you find that you can easily get to our beaches within 2 hours drive time, to the west to our mountains. So we like to think that we've got the best of all worlds.
Great. Well, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here.